Exercise is critical, especially as we age. General fitness is important even if you have disabilities that limit the type of exercise you can do. Stay tuned to meet a distinguished educator who has been making physical training accessible to persons with disabilities for over 25 years.
Welcome to The Better Part, a program that encompasses a diverse spectrum of topics important to our community, which we hope will both inform and entertain you. We invite you to sit back and enjoy the program.
Tom Beggs has been called an instructor with a heart of gold. His love for teaching physical fitness inspires his students and his colleagues. He has taught physical education and adapted physical education at De Anza Community College for over 25 years. We are here at the Veterans Memorial in Memorial Park. This location is significant because Tom started his career working with returning disabled veterans. His students love him and his classes are always bursting at the seams. In this half hour, we are going to meet Dr. Tom Beggs and see what some of his classes are like. Welcome to The Better Part. Hello, I'm here on a wonderful outing, beautiful summer day. I'm going to introduce my guest today, Dr. Tom Beggs. Hi, nice to meet you. It's so beautiful out here today. What are you doing here today?
Well, we're here with a group of students, college-age students, adult students. We're here on a Tuesday, Thursday field trip where we visit different accessible parks in and out and throughout Santa Clara, Santa Cruz, Alameda, and San Mateo counties. And virtually the entire Bay Area is our playground, but today we've chosen Shoreline Park, one of the more popular places close to the bay, close to De Anza College, here in Mountain View, owned by the city of Mountain View. And as you can see, it's very accessible, very flat, and provides many different activities for outdoor users. Everything from cycling to hiking to boating and to wheelchair riding. And that's why I'm here to talk a little bit about this book sooner or later today. But it's called A Wheelchair Rider's Guide, and I kind of laughingly say that because yes, it was designed for wheelchairs, but it's really designed for anybody who really wants an accessible, relatively flat exercise experience in an outdoor setting. But before I go any further, I want to introduce everybody to Mr. Matt Lubinsky.
Hi.
Hi, Matt. Matt, why did you choose to come along with us this summer on these outings?
I wanted to be able to get out and experience the outdoors more than just what I could find locally.
And Matt, if you're a bus user, how much can you do on a regular county typical bus setting? I mean, how far can you go out on those places?
Well, I can get around the whole valley, but it's hard to get to a place like this.
Yeah. In other words, specific parks sometimes that are hidden up into valleys that are accessible but aren't necessarily on the bus lines might be something that you're looking forward to?
Exactly.
So Matt found out about our program, I guess, last spring, Matt?
Yes.
And he started to think about it, and then he joined up with this summer's group, and now we're going to be traveling all over the Bay Area. And as you know, the Bay Area is just a great natural playground packed full of parks that would take a lifetime for us to see, but hopefully we'll get to all of them, right, Matt?
Yes.
Okay, well, here we're talking, I was discussing with Matt about this great resource that I'm holding in my hand here, and this is a wheelchair rider guide to many or most of the Bayland parks. As far up as Marin County and as far east as Alameda County and as far south as about Don Edwards Alviso bird news. So on that note, I was just sharing with Matt that this is just a great resource for people, and if you want to get a hold of this book, you would go online and go under the Coastal Conservancy, and you can find this book. It was written by Bonnie Lukowitz, and I'm sure hoping that, Bonnie, if you hear me pronounce your name, I'm pronouncing it somewhat correct, but this is just a wonderful resource. And this is just 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years worth of parks, and we're just touching on one of them today, but people have put a lot of work into this book, and it's just a basic cookbook for, hey, let's get out and do something this weekend or during the week. Now, the one thing I kind of grind into the students, and Matt will hear me say this later on, is I will always say, hey, Matt, isn't this great that we're here on Thursday and not the weekends? Because if you talk to a lot of senior citizens, they'll say, hey, Tom, let's go do it during the week, because so many things are so crowded during the weekend. So, Matt, we know that there's many great aspects to being in the outdoors. Great individual pursuits, group pursuits, studying the flora and the fauna, and getting out into the outdoors is really great. But you have some interesting things to talk about in terms of the social aspect. So I'm just going to give it to you.
I wanted to point out that this class is more than just the viewing the parks. It's also getting out with people. If I were to try going to a park on the bus, I'm going by myself for the most part, and this class gives me the opportunity to socialize, which is a really good thing to do.
We're here at De Anza College in the Adaptive Physical Education room. Standing with me is Sylvia, and she is a staff member here at the college. She's going to talk with us about what she does here. Hi, Sylvia.
Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you for this interview. I would love to know what you do here in this room.
Well, our students all have physical handicaps, and the staff works with them individually or in groups with their physical therapy programs. And we keep charts on them and monitor their progress, and at the end of each quarter, these are reviewed. And we all are kind of like a family here. We have students from the campus in different programs that come in and also assist us. And then we have regular staff like myself. So we have all ages that are helping our students.
And tell me about how this facility is special.
Well, this facility is special. Mainly, we serve a large population with a wide variety of handicaps, and we have had students here for as long as 20 years. They have been coming back and back, so I guess we're considered a big success.
I can't believe that. 20 years people keep coming. Wow. Thank you so much, Sylvia, for this interview. Okay, so here I am with Nathan. He is a part-time instructor here in this room, and he's going to tell us about what he does here. Hi, Nathan.
Hello.
Tell me about what you do here then with the students.
Well, I'm a part-time instructor here at De Anza, and I've been here about 10 years. And I basically oversee the classroom, and I make sure that the students get help from our assistants as well as myself.
So you instruct them how to use the equipment.
And I design an exercise program for them so that they can follow throughout the quarter and try to meet their goals at the end of the quarter.
And then do you see an improvement with the people as they, from when they come in then until later on?
A majority of the time I do, yes. Yes.
What do you like about your job here?
Well, I get to meet people every day and try to help them as much as possible. That's the best part of my job, is trying to help people. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for talking with me, Nathan. Okay, we're over here with another student, and Nathan is going to introduce us to her.
This is Barbara Stahl, and she's one of the students in our 9 o'clock class. Barbara, what sort of assistance are you receiving today?
I'm receiving assistance from my therapist, Lenny, here, and he does range of motion and flexible exercises to assist me, and I think it's a wonderful program here. It does assist me to remain mobile, or at least a little bit more mobile than I would be, and I am able to do more things because I come here twice a week, and I have done so for 6 years now.
All right, here I am with Larry. He's going to introduce himself and tell you what he does here in this room. Hi, Larry.
Hi. I'm Larry Bloom. I'm the assistant coordinator of the Adaptive Physical Education program here at De Anza College. I do a number of different things. Besides one of the instructors, I work with the assistants as far as getting them set up, scheduled, trained, and have them be part of the adaptive program here. We have close to 400 students in the program, and we rely quite a bit on having assistants in the program. The assistants are people that are De Anza College students. They could be interns from a particular program. We get quite a few of our staff or assistants come from the massage therapy program here at campus. They come through us, do internships, and then once they've done a good job with us, and most all of them do, then we hire them on to help work with our students in completing their exercise programs here at De Anza College.
Thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We're in another physical fitness room at De Anza College, and standing with me is CJ. Hi, CJ.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Tell me about what you do here and how you know Tom Beggs.
Well, this is De Anza College's Lifetime Fitness and Wellness Center, and I'm the coordinator for the facility. We have both students and community members, so people can buy memberships here. A lot of the times we get students who cross over from our adaptive program who will take the classes or purchase the membership because we have different equipment in this facility. I get to work with Tom, and he is a gift to our students, our staff, and our faculty, and I think the community as well.
Okay, thank you so much for talking with us, CJ. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, and thank you for coming out. I think people will be really pleased to meet Tom through your program and learn about all that he does here with De Anza and the community.
Yes.
I've been taking Tom's adapted physical education class for past 5 months. His love for teaching is evident in the way he interacts with us students. He remembers everyone's name. Tom makes us work hard at stretching, strengthening, and cardio exercises, but he makes the class fun with his stories. The time just flies by. I'm not an early morning person, but for Tom's class, I would wake up at the crack of dawn. Tom, I'd like to ask you, what was your inspiration to become a APE instructor?
Well, many years ago when I was a student here at De Anza myself, many moons ago in the early 70s, the Vietnam veterans were coming back to the Bay Area in large numbers, and oftentimes they would end up at De Anza in wheelchairs, and we had many different experiences for them. Of course, we provided full academic services and retraining, and at the same time, a lot of them would be referred to us for our beautiful physical settings, and back then we called it rehabilitation. It used to be known as adapted rehabilitated physical education programs. Over the years the names have changed, but basically it kind of grew out of the veterans hospitals, and most of us that have worked here for a number of years came from the Palo Alto VA or another VA somewhere else in the U.S. Rather than stay with the VA hospitals, we circulated our skills around the colleges, and many of us have ended up in community colleges or CSUs or pretty much recreation or CSU or community college settings. Mainly community college. That's where the funding's been the last 30, 40 years, specifically for people with medical conditions, enabling them to take courses from what you see here today in the water to indoor classes to all sorts of academic services and programs for people with medical conditions. So what we have here at De Anza are people who are coming back for retraining, maybe changing careers from a traumatic medical incident ranging from a car accident to a work-related setting, in need of many different types of rehabilitation. Physical, social, academic, lots of changes occurring, and lots of different age groups. Anybody from age 16 to age 96.
Wow. So what classes are you currently teaching in Cupertino, and where are they?
Well, we used to have a number of classes, satellite centers, but pretty much right now we're located at De Anza. We're located at Cupertino Senior Center. We're out at Sunnyvale Senior Center. But the bulk of and the core of our classes are here on campus. But with the huge numbers of students now coming back to community colleges, it's very crowded. And so any of the classes that we can offset off campus make it easier for the students, number one, and it makes it more creative for us. We can offer a lot of courses in different settings other than just the college setting. And we have a long history of doing that at De Anza. We're probably one of the biggest remaining adapted physical education settings in the state of California, if not the biggest one.
So can anyone join these classes?
Yeah, who can join? Well, you have to have a medical reason for coming into this APE program, unlike a regular class. So like I say, anybody with an orthopedic condition, a spinal cord, rheumatic, we have lots of people with psych backgrounds as well. So really just about anybody, but again you'd have to have a medical reason for continuing on in our program here at De Anza.
So do we have to have a doctor's note?
So you'd have to have you'd have to have a special medical form that we can send out to your doctor, fax back to us. It's a pretty easy, streamlined process, and we're trying to make it a lot easier. So we've really grown over the years, and I think because we try to make it more simple as we grow.
Tell us about some of the people that have taken your classes and if they've shown any remarkable results.
Yeah, we have some incredible stories. Now, water's kind of my bias. I've always loved anything having to do with the water. But water is definitely one of those places where somebody, for instance, that has multiple sclerosis, a neurologic situation where a lot of muscles and nerves are involved, and walking is not an easy thing for them. In the water, it's not uncommon to see somebody with MS be able to swim 36, that's a half mile to a full mile over the course of an hour or an hour and a half. So that's a huge personal achievement. The water is often said to be an area that people with mobility problems can get in and literally feel like they're an astronaut, literally feel like they're out there in space. Mobility is improved, lung capacity is improved, muscle function, breathing, everything. The one downside to being out in the water, it's often said to spawn a big appetite afterwards. So we always tell people you have to watch your appetite when you're out here in the water. But other than that, it's just total freedom. And the beauty of it is most of the time we get people that have, for instance, an insurance situation where a physical therapist, occupational therapist, or a physician, chiropractor might refer us after they have no more opportunity with their insurance. They'll come to us for another 8 or 10 weeks or quarters, a couple of quarters, and so we can just kind of literally take whatever they want and continue that program at the college. So if a person is under a lot of academic training but they're under a lot of physical stress at the same time, this is where they can retrain and continue on in a new profession. And that's our one of our first and foremost goals, is to get people healthy enough again so they can go out and work again.
And that must be very satisfying
It
for
is.
you and
It is.
for the people who take these classes.
It's very exciting. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. So we do the programs for the disabled students, and hopefully we can keep that going.
Will you organize field trips for the students? You take them on the buses on Tuesdays and Thursdays every week. So what's the difference between the two, the Tuesday and the Thursday trips?
Well, those Tuesday, Thursday trips, one trip is really for one population of people that can really get out and walk areas, walk trails. That's the Thursday group. The Tuesday afternoon group are really quadriplegics, paraplegics, people that need to have specially designed trails that are flat enough where they can really get out and be successful and enjoy places. That's usually a smaller group of people. And we're so lucky here in the Bay Area. The Bay Area is just a treasure trove of wheelchair accessible trails. So I do my best to get to every one of those possible parks that we can. And over the quarter we do about 12 of these trips. So far I don't think we've duplicated a trip in about 3 years. And these wheelchair folks really enjoy it, and every week it's just a new experience for them, and it's really an eye-opener, and I hope to keep it going.
Another location that we went with you is to the Skyline Sanborn Park. Let's look at that video.
Yeah, now that's a park that you obviously saw that was very steep, and you'd say to yourself, well, why would you ever take somebody in a wheelchair there? But there's actually trails now, and there are paved access ways that just were not there 20 or 30 years ago. And more of that state park is being developed, and of course every time it is, we always have to build it with wheelchair access in mind. So that's a trip that just really reflects a steep Santa Cruz Mountain Park that's somewhat accessible, much more than it was certainly when I was going through college 30 years ago. And we just need to get people in wheelchairs out to those parks to let them know that, hey, this is accessible for you too, not just able-bodied folks. And there's many more of those parks that we'll be going to, but Skyline Sanborn is a beautiful, somewhat accessible park, and it even has camping facilities. You could even camp there. So, wonderful place to go. So we can take volunteers, and if you're interested in that, come see me or call me or email me at De Anza. All the instructors' names are listed with their last names first, and in my case it's beggstom@deanza.edu, and if you'd ever like to be a volunteer or show me some places that I may not be aware of, growing up in the Bay Area I'm familiar with quite a bit, but I'm always surprised by new places. So if you would like to be a volunteer, I would love to connect up with you sometime.
Today we're at Tom Beggs' class, outdoor senior education class. It's pretty new to De Anza, and it gets people out to places like we are at today at Sanborn Park. And it gets us out to nature, seeing different areas, the beautiful plants different places have. And otherwise we wouldn't be able to see this stuff if we didn't have Tom's class. And I've joined 2 quarters, and I'm planning on joining 2 more if I'm allowed. Because it gets us out and we enjoy the group that's with us. And this, if you ever get a chance to come to this park, it's a wonderful park. But it gets us all out instead of being in 4 walls. And so thanks to Tom Beggs, we have the opportunity to see different things around the Bay Area. It's a wonderful class. And Tom is super.
Well, the group really enjoyed themselves, and so did we. Okay, Tom, let's talk about the fitness class that you take at the Cupertino Senior Center. What's the purpose of that class?
Well, the purpose of that class is very much similar to the classes that we have here on campus. It's just that setting is a little bit more tailored towards older adults. However, I do get young students that will come over from De Anza and take that class from me, just because sometimes a class may be full over here and they can't get into the class. But that class is really kind of a range of motion class using light weights, and we know that light weightlifting is extremely beneficial for people of any ages. So the weightlifting, the range of motion, it gives you a little bit of aerobics, and then one day a week we have a little bit of what I call fun, because you have to inject a little bit of fun to keep people's levels of motivation up by doing that seated balloon ball volleyball, which, by the way, was originally invented by Parkinsonians. They're really the ones that played this seated volleyball, which is so successful. Now on campus we even have the young folks playing with us, which brings me to my main message, at least my side of De Anza College, is I think one of the most wonderful aspects of a community college is that it doesn't take much footage out here to look around and see young, old, super young, super old, everybody mixed in together. Does that keep you young? I think it does, because it keeps people thinking, yes, I'm not in my house, I'm not stuck, I can come to De Anza, I can be active, I can immerse myself with 25-year-olds, I can talk about music with them, I can discuss a math class while I'm working out in the pool, I can share a history class with somebody that's a third of my age, or some of the young ones will say, Tom, I really enjoyed having one of your 95-year-olds in my speech class. So all of these inter-age relationships I think are wonderful. It's truly a gem, and I just hope it keeps going. It's wonderful.
Oh, I'm taking this class with you, and I really enjoy it.
And I'd consider you to be one of the younger people.
Okay, thank you so much, Tom.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have seen how Tom uses adapted cardiovascular training in the classroom and in the pool to maintain strength and flexibility. We've also seen how he organizes field trips that are accessible for persons with disabilities. You can find out more about his courses in the De Anza Community College catalog and start a training program of your own. You can also get more information by calling the Cupertino Senior Center at 408-777-3150. I want to thank Tom for taking the time to be with us today and for showing us that we can all keep ourselves physically fit.